Lewis, Cole Palmer, Foden, of course, as well. Looks like he's playing down the middle. How do you think this team have done in them first 45 minutes?
I think for me, particularly the players like Phillips, Foden, Palmer, Lewis, I think they've been really good this first half. I think Palmer, for me, coming up against Azpilicueta, I think there must have been a period in that game Azpilicueta must have been thinking, you know, just stop running. Because he was getting the ball all the time, he was getting in behind him. I'd seen Azpilicueta a couple of times running back. He's not exactly breaking his backside to get back because he's just thinking, well, what's the point? And of course, you know, Palmer himself was one of the main instruments really in the Man City goal. It's a sloppy goal to give away from Chelsea's point of view for Foden. It's a very, very poor pass, but it's pounced on. Palmer does really well. Great touch by Alvarez, finished it off with aplomb.
Unbelievable. 17th goal in all competitions for Julian Alvarez. We talk about, you know, the big man Erling Haaland up front, but I mean, you can't also look past this man. 22 starts he's had with them stats of goals, not mentioning his assist there as well. What a player.
He's absolutely fantastic, and he would get in any other team in the league.
Yeah.
You know, he's that good, but you've just got to give him a huge amount of credits for his mentality. You know, whether he's not playing, he's coming off the bench, whether he's starting games, he always has an impact.
Yeah.
As you say, there his goals or assists, but just by his all-round play. You know, he doesn't give defenders a minute's peace. He's always on the move. You know, I was speaking to Brian Barry Murphy as the game was going on, and he was saying that sometimes the centre forwards, when they're younger, they wonder why they're not in the position because they stand still. You know, you watch him, the ball, if Riyad's got it, or Phil's got it, or Cole today, he's always on the move causing a problem. And you need to do that, and because they've got 3 centre-halves, they're only picking up 1.
Yes.
And he's playing in between the middle one and right-hand side and left-hand side. He's never just standing up against them. He's coming short, he's spinning behind. And for somebody so young, he plays with a lot more maturity than what he does. And Steve said, the touch and the finish for his goal, it's instinctive. You know, there's no backlift. He knows exactly what he's going to do. And he's just a wonderful player.
Yeah, I was just going to say, with his movement, he's one of these where he makes that many runs, and a lot of times he doesn't get the ball. But he's one of them, for a defender, he's a nightmare, because he doesn't. Some centre forwards actually stand next to the centre half to make it easy.
Yeah.
He's constantly playing in between the 2 centre halves or the 3 centre halves, and it's a case of, well, have you got him, or do I get him, or and so it causes that confusion between defenders as well. But yeah, I mean, for his age as well, he's just going to get better and better and better, which is scary.
That's what I think is so exciting as well. I don't think we've even begun to see the full potential of Julian Alvarez. Some of his stats here from the first half: 90% pass accuracy, won both of the duels that he went for, completed his the only dribble he attempted, a key pass, 1 shot, 1 goal. What more do you want from a World Cup winner? Some other players. In fact, before we get into how we've kind of been playing on an individual level, we were asking questions about the setup. So it's looking like we've got Kyle Walker playing right back, centre-half partnership of Akanji with Laporte, Gomez playing left back, and Rico Lewis, Paul, is kind of alongside Calvin Phillips in the middle with Foden in front of them. Let's begin with Rico Lewis. We've seen him at right back dropping into that central midfield role, but that's his position today.
It looks as if he's played that position all his career. You know, and if anything, you know, I think Calvin's done really well.
Yeah.
You know, pleased for him. He's broke things up. His passing accuracy has been great. His technique as well, is good. But him sitting in there is allowing Rico to go and move a little bit forward as well. But the maturity that he shows for such a young kid is sensational. We've seen it when he's played right back and then tucked into that midfield role. But he looks so comfortable, not just on the ball, but positionally as well, which for a young player playing in a team like this must be so difficult to do. So it shows you that he's not just a good player, but he's got a real good football intelligence about him as well.
Yeah, I couldn't agree. And I think Ben Wilkinson, under-18s coach, was with us watching the game, and he said, you've not even, again, another player you've not seen nowhere near his full potential, which is exciting. Phil Foden is the third person to complete that 3-man midfield. I know a lot of City fans always feel we want to see Phil down the middle. What have you made of his first 45 minutes down the middle?
I thought he's had a very solid 45 minutes. You know, there was a move when it was Palmer, Lewis, and Foden nearly finished it off, and that would have been a fantastic move. It was a lovely little flick from Rico Lewis. I think he got on the way of Alvarez. I think the two of them were and then he tried to give him it, and then he's had a chance where I think it's a long ball from Phillips. He's took a really good touch, and to be fair, he's seen something which we're all thinking, wow, we can't pull this, and he was just so unlucky because he's hit it and it's just gone the wrong side of the post. An unbelievable effort. But that just goes to show the quality of a player that he is.
Also, a stat here which I think will surprise some people. Our second highest scorer in the Premier League, behind the main man Erling Haaland, Phil Foden, with 10 goals, which you kind of probably wouldn't have thought of him because of his injuries. He's missed chunks of the season.
I think
as
he's 10
well.
Premier League goals in 15 or 16 in all competitions, and he's missed, as you said, he's been out in recent weeks, you know, and he's not always been in the team. So it just shows, look, we all know how good he is. And as you said, City fans want to see him in that sort of number 10 role in the middle of the park. Look, he can run games himself. You know, you get him on the ball, and he can dominate that middle of the park. If he's coming in from wide, we know he's got goals and assists in him. But he's a wonderful player, and I'm delighted to see him back, especially going into Wednesday, Saturday, and then the two big games, because you want, look, every player in that team's top class, but there's a few special ones in there, and Phil Foden's one of them.
He's only had 21 starts as well to get those goals, and interestingly, same number of goals as Gabriel Jesus as well over at Arsenal. Then it's Steve. What kind of happened really? I mean, did City just kind of, I don't know, it just felt suddenly Chelsea kind of warmed back into the game again. We had a Sterling chance with a brilliant save from Ortega, got played through 1-on-1. Of course, they hit the post as well. Do you think that was just part of the game, or do you feel that Chelsea kind of found a little something, a new energy possibly? Well, how did that happen?
Chelsea's got good players, and you know, so that they are going to have chances. You know, it is mind-blowing how poor they've been this season, given the quality actually that they have got. So they are going to get chances. As I said, the Sterling one, I don't know whether it was me, but I'm not sure if you were the same. I didn't really fancy him when he went through.
Yeah.
But still, it was a good save by the goalkeeper. Made himself look big. I think Dickie mentioned something that if he'd made that save, I think he'd have dislocated his hip. But
He's nearly done the splits.
which is ridiculous. And then they have the chance where obviously they hit the post, but again the goalkeeper does well, because it could hit the post and go in.
Yeah.
But the goalkeeper gets back to that post, it hits him and pops out. But yeah, they are going to have little half chances. Of course they are. But still, for me, a comfortable first half for City. And probably deservedly, 1-0, possibly could have been 2.
Yeah. I think with that many changes, and Steve's bang on, you're playing against a team with the quality that Chelsea have got in it. You're not going to have it all your own way.
Yeah.
You're never doing really in any Premier League game. But they're comfortable in the end. I think Lewis Hall's been a problem for us down this side. I think he's a fantastic young player. We put in a great ball, and I think it was Conor Gallagher hit the post,
Yes.
at the back post. So Chelsea are a good team, you know, Havertz, Sterling, Conor Gallagher,
Big names.
Enzo, what was it, 110 million? Thiago, Fofana, 70 million.
Yeah.
You know, Azpilicueta. So they've got top individuals in there, and I think these guys that have come in, especially younger kids, you know, Sergio Gomez, Foden, Palmer, Lewis, and they've been exceptional.
Yeah, giving a great account of themselves. Let's take a little slight pause then from the game at hand today and just look to the league itself, because as we know, I mean, it finishes next week. I mean, Steve, you're an older... Sorry, Paul.
Have we won it again?
I think we might have won it again. Yeah, we've won it again.
3 times in a row.
But your team 1 point away from securing Champions League football. I mean, what a season Newcastle have had there.
They have, yeah. I mean, they're not my team.
Not your team,
being brutally honest. But yeah, I think what Eddie Howe's doing there is absolutely fantastic. I think credit's got to go to him, his staff, and the players. Obviously, Liverpool drawing yesterday against Aston Villa. It was a big game for them against Brighton, which they finished off. They've got Leicester tomorrow. I mean, I thought, you know, top 10 would have been a good finish.
Yeah.
For them to finish in the Champions League spots, which looks likely. Is a fantastic achievement.
Yeah, one point, and then it's maybe looking like as well that, you know, United might secure that possibly 4th spot. Other end of the table, I mean, Southampton, of course, looks like they're going down. Forest now safe after that win against Arsenal. So I'm guessing Leicester, former team for you as well, Paul, really been difficult for them this year. So it's maybe we're thinking Everton or Leeds for the third team to go down.
Well, Leeds lost today as well, didn't they?
They did.
So it looks at Leeds and, I hate to say it, but Leicester, you know, they're really struggling. They've been poor all season. They look really, even 3-4 months ago, they look stale. You know, there's been no recruitment in there. Arguably, for me, the best player or the most important player was Kasper Schmeichel.
Yeah.
To let him go without even trying to keep him. Just spoke about Fofana, 80 million, didn't replace any of them.
Yeah.
You know, so the recruitment where previous years have always done really well. Over the last couple of years, it's been really poor.
Yeah. It's tough, isn't it? Because as you say, remember where Leicester were at, and this just goes to show that the Premier League is why it's the best. Because a few seasons you can be at top, Steve, and then the next you don't keep at it, can very soon drop out of it.
Well, yeah, I might be wrong, but I think it was 7 years since they won the title.
Yeah.
And again, if you look at the team, they've got good players.
Yeah.
I mean, Vardy for me still causes a problem.
Agreed.
Harvey Barnes, Maddison, Tielemans. People like that. Dickie said, which I totally agree with. I think the Schmeichel thing was a massive one, because not only was he brilliant on the field, you can imagine him being really good off the field. But you feel sorry for the Leicester fans, because if they do go down, the big name players, if you want, the Maddisons, your Tielemans, the ones that I've mentioned, Harvey Barnes, they'll be gone.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like, well, look, you got us in this position, and all of a sudden you're disappearing. But yeah, it's a tough. I think they'll struggle tomorrow. I have to be honest. But you just never know. You never know until it's all over.
And on the subject of that third team going down, Paul, as we said, between Leeds and Everton, Leeds losing today. So I mean, Everton have just got a win at home against Bournemouth. You've got to fancy them there. Yeah,
and especially after the bounce, the momentum that they'll have from scoring that 99th minute goal yesterday at Wolves. They'll be absolutely buzzing. And then obviously seeing Leeds getting beaten, seeing Leicester's games coming up, you've got to fancy Everton. And I think Leeds have got Tottenham at home next week, which you could easily win that the way Tottenham are.
You just don't know what you're going to get with them, do you?
And maybe in the last, do you know what? I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Last game of the season, everything they play for them.
Is indeed. I think as well, we want to mention there's been some big games throughout the week. We're building up to playoffs and teams getting promoted. I think we have to give a mention, of course, to Vincent Kompany, who's just done an incredible job at Burnley, bringing them up. Our boys over at Sheffield United, Tommy Doyle, James McAtee, who got their young player of the season promoted. Wilson Esbrand as well is now in the playoff final as well. Looking at Sheffield United coming up, it's been great. Burnley as well. You excited to see what they could do next year?
Absolutely, yeah. Great grounds to go to as well.
Yes, yeah.
Old school grounds, if you want. And it'll be good to sort of see what Vincent Kompany does in the Premier League. It was, I think that the chairman or the owner had sort of said it's like, going out with with Vincent Kompany, it's like going out with the most beautiful girl in the world, but knowing that you're never going to marry her, because ultimately
I wouldn't know.
He will. but he obviously at some stage he'd probably leave. But I think he's just signed a 5-year contract. But yeah, I mean the job that he's done there has been absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah,
it was a really sweet moment the other night when we were watching the game, and Vincent had his kids with him, the Real Madrid game, and his little boys turned around and went, "Dad," he went, "We're better than Real Madrid because we gave City a better game than what Real Madrid did at half-time." And I thought, how sweet is that? You know what I mean? Just so innocent.
I love that as well, still seeing him at the ground, and I think even Pep said it, potentially a future Manchester City manager. We can but dream. Right, let's get back to the action here at the Etihad Stadium then. 45 minutes to go, and then the celebrations will well and truly begin. But before that, we've just got another 45 minutes against Chelsea. Remember, we'll be back at full time. We'll talk about the game, reflect on the season, and bring you that all-important trophy lift, which never gets old. Thank you for watching. Alistair Mann and Andy Morrison have got commentary on the app, so I'll hand over to them now. See you at full time. Come on, City.
Thank you, Kel. Welcome back to the Etihad Stadium for the last time this season. Quite sorry to say that. It's been another magnificent campaign for the Blues here at the Etihad. And they've got this incredible record of having won every single match here in